What's up, YouTube? We're back with another episode of What the Hell Am I Doing? And this week, we're in a different location. We're in the champ's lair, the bedroom. We're doing the second review of the silk+snow bed in a box, which I've been talking about doing for quite some time. And it's finally time to do it. I bought this February of last year, this bed. It was time to replace my old bed, which at the time was, I think, almost 25 years old. It was shot. So it was time to get a new bed. And I slept on a memory foam bed that Christmas, and it really put the idea in my head that I wanted a memory foam. So I did a lot of research, and I came to silk+snow. That was the bed I decided to choose. And let me tell you, I didn't regret it at the time, and a year in, I still don't regret it. It's a great bed. I figured, the first review I gave would be a good idea of what I thought at the time. But, that could have been a bit of a honeymoon phase with the bed. So I figured it would be appropriate to wait a half a year. And then, it ended up becoming a year plus. It's actually been 14 months, but we're going to do the year-in review. And, I'll give you my thoughts on that. So first, before I say any more, make sure you click the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Got to get more subscribers, so make sure you do that. We're going to do the Chili Cherry Nightmare soon. I think you guys will love that. So, yeah. So this bed now, I've had it for over a year. Has my opinion of it changed? No. No, my opinion has not changed. It's worth the money I paid. It was a great deal. It was $800. I'm anticipating this bed lasting 10 years. I think it's got a 15-year limited warranty, but, for the money, I'm anticipating 10 years being a good value, and anything after that is a bonus. So we're a year in. I've slept on it every night, of course. I haven't shared it with anybody. I do have my dog, though, that I share it with, Anderson. And the bed, he loves the bed. He sleeps in it all the time during the day, I think. And he loves to sleep in it with me at night. One thing I love about this bed is how you don't feel motion. He's always up and off, on and off the bed, when we first come up here. And one thing I notice is that I don't feel almost anything, which is pretty cool. So I would imagine with another person, if they were moving around, you're not going to feel much. You might feel a little motion, depending on what your mattress is sitting on. But the mattress itself does not transfer motion, so you really don't feel much in terms of that. So that's great. The other thing that I was wondering about last year when I initially did the first review was how this mattress would do in the summertime. Memory foam has a tendency to hold on to temperature and not breathe well, so they tend to get hot. And that was a concern that I had, considering I bought the bed in February. So my initial thoughts were, I think, a month in. So it was, cold season. Also, memory foam feels a little more firm at that time. When things are cold, it's firmer. Even now, if you get in the bed when it's cold, it feels firmer than it does, if you sleep in it all night. And also we'll get into that after too. So so the temperature thing I was wondering about ends up being, this bed does hold a little bit of temperature, but my old coil spring mattress actually held temperature more. Like if I get out and get back into the bed, I feel a slight warmth that's left, after a couple of minutes. Not a big deal. Nothing that makes you uncomfortable. I don't wake up in the middle of the night sweating. It doesn't retain heat in that kind of way that's uncomfortable. And I'm a bit of a furnace. So this bed doesn't really have that issue. Even in the summertime when it was hot and humid, and if I didn't have the air on, the bed was a warm bed. Yes, like it should be because it's warm in here. But it didn't hold on to it in a way that was uncomfortable. It seemed to breathe enough that the bed would, if you rolled over into a different spot, it felt good. And if you went back to the other spot later, it's cooled off. So the bed really didn't have any issues with holding heat in warm weather, which was a great thing. And that was a nice surprise. The scent, some of these beds sometimes have a scent to them because of the foams. This one didn't really. It kind of had what I call a new scent when it was new. If you it wasn't strong, but if I put my face into the bed, I could smell it. I don't notice that anymore. It's completely gone. The firmness of the bed, when I first got it, it was pretty firm. The top was plush. I'll show you guys in a minute how plush it is. But the top was really plush and cushy, and it feels luxurious. So that was awesome. And the memory foam itself, you sink into, and it takes a lot of pressure off your joints and everything. You really don't feel the bed that much. And to this day, I still feel the same way. It still feels very nice to lay on. I still love to come up here and lay on my bed because when you lay on it, it feels amazing. It feels very luxurious still. The top is very plush. The material, because I've slept on it now for a year, has softened up a bit. The outer edges are still firmer because I don't sleep on the edges, but the inside area has broken in a bit. So it's a little bit softer, but it's not soft to the point where I sink in weird ways and get a sore back or sore joints because now I'm laying funny because I'm sinking funny. That's not happening. It's still very comfortable. It's still very supportive the way it was when I first got it. It's just now the material has a lot, it's been used a bit. So now it has a little bit of extra softness to it. But not in a bad way. Like I traditionally used to love very firm beds, and having this was a nice change because everything is very soft. The memory foam feels good. You sink into it a bit, but you don't get that stuck in the mud feeling. It is a little hard to roll in the bed. Even after a year, I've gotten used to doing it, but it's still a little difficult compared to a traditional bed where if you try to roll over or get out, it takes a little more work than a coil spring bed. But that being said, you don't really get stuck in this bed like other memory foam where it forms around you. This one, it does it nicely, but in a comfortable way. So I love the way the bed feels still. It feels amazing. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed now. Yeah, it's sinking around me quite a lot, but the edge support of this bed is really good. I can lay on this back edge here completely fine. It doesn't pose any problems. I don't feel like I'm going to roll out of the bed. I can lay pretty much right along the edge and completely crush it down. And I still feel supported. I still feel in the bed. I still feel comfortable. My old coil spring, if I laid on the edge like this, it would actually collapse. You would feel like you're going to fall out. And there is a beading in the edge too that was very uncomfortable to touch. So this actually has no materials in it other than what it's made of. So laying on the edge is not uncomfortable anyway, and you feel supported enough to stay in the bed. So I think two people would definitely be able to fit into this bed, no problem. And if you had to lay, a little bit apart and lay along the edges, no one would have that problem of feeling like they're going to fall out of the bed. So that's a great thing too. And like I said, you do sink when you're sitting like I am now. Like the material is all my weight's in one spot, so it is crushing down quite a lot. But it still feels comfortable. My butt and legs aren't getting sore from sitting here. It feels very nice. But I feel supported still. Like I could lift my feet up and I don't feel like I'm going to slide out of the bed. I don't feel like anything's happening. I feel completely supported still. You can sit here to put your pants on. You can sit here to put your socks on. You can sit here to talk to somebody if you had to, if somebody was standing in front of you. It's a very comfortable bed. I do wonder how this bed would be if it was on one of those metal frames. I see a lot of people getting those frames where they put them on the floor and they put these directly on top. My box spring's a little beat up, so it tends to dip in the middle with any weight. I do have a spare one in my spare bedroom, but it's a lot less used. I really should switch them. That would probably change the way the bed feels a little bit because it'd be a little better supported from underneath. I think if you had one of those frames to sit on the floor and the bed sits directly on that, it would feel quite nice. But that being said, on an old box spring, it still kicks ass and it feels really great. I sleep great on it. I don't feel quite as young as I did last year. When I first got it, it made me feel 20 years younger for quite some time. That's not so much the case anymore. Time has gone by and I've gotten used to it a bit. And I still feel better than I normally did from my old bed. I still wake up with no aches and pains. And I still move pretty well because I sleep better and sleep more aligned. So that's a good thing, So I really like this bed. I really think it's worth the money. And in terms of quality, I looked up all the specs before I bought this, and this is the one that meet the minimum requirements you should have really for a bed. Well, not just meet them, it beat them in some aspects. But this is one of the better made beds material-wise from all the research I did. And after a year of sleeping in it, I can still confidently say it's worth the money and a great purchase. It's completely as comfortable as it was day one. It's a little more soft now, but not in a bad way. It's it's like the perfect way to go to bed. And I actually look forward to going to bed every night still to sleep in this bed. It's a wonderful bed. Okay, so we're going to give you an example of the plushness of this bed. As you can see, Anderson really does like this bed. He loves to sleep on it with me, and even when I'm not with him, he'll come up here and lay on it. And it's a comfortable bed. The top layer of memory foam is pretty soft, and if you, well, you can't really tell probably on video. It doesn't sink around his body that much. But, you know, if you look closely, you can see his paw there underneath his face. The memory foam's just gently sunken in around his paw. So this bed even comforts him and gives him a layer of cushion. And because of his, you know, he only weighs 30 pounds, he's basically only feeling the memory foam. So this bed must be extremely comfortable to him. But just take a look at this. Look at that. See that? It bounces right back. The only mark that's left is the fact that there's a cover on this thing, and that fabric shows that my handprint's there. But it's really plush, but it bounces right back. And that top layer feels fantastic. Like I said, even if you lay on the side like this, no risk of falling out. I feel completely comfortable. And because I don't sleep on the side, I can still feel kind of what it felt like on night one when it was brand new. But yeah, look at this. It's completely fine. I'm not falling out of the bed. Obviously, you can't tell how soft it feels or how great it feels, but this thing feels awesome. Once you put a bed liner on it and or a mattress liner on it, I guess you should say, in the sheets, it takes away a bit from that plushness. It feels a little more uniformly firm, I guess. Well, I think that just about does it. That's another review in the can. A little different than the usual ones, because usually I do hot things, but I've been wanting to do this, and I said I was going to do other types of reviews, and I'm really glad I got to review this. I know people have been waiting for this, and they've been asking for it. So here you go. Here's the second review, the year-in review. If you're on the fence about this bed, get it. It's worth it. And if you don't like it, the trial is long enough that you have enough time to decide that. Well, I think that's it for this week. Make sure you check out last week's video. Or actually, I guess that was 2 weeks ago's video. Anderson's involved here. So make sure you check out that video. Make sure you check out this video here. And make sure you subscribe. And we'll be back soon, I think, with a challenge video next week. Or maybe we'll do something hot. I'm not sure. But we'll be back soon. So make sure you tune in again. Thanks for watching. And tune into my live shows. We're doing some good chats these days.